Welcome everyone to episode 4, Wimbledon. Wimbledon is one of the oldest and most celebrated tournaments on earth. Before we dig into the data, let's have a look behind Wimbledon to understand what kind of tournament it is. Okay, so lesson number 1, the men's draw. Wimbledon has a remarkable recent history of recording the very best. Look at the numbers. 8 of the last 9 winners since 2016 have come from players in the top 3 seedings, with 6 of those going to the outright number 1 seed. Andy Murray, Novak Djokovic, Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner all arrived as the top seed and left with the trophy. Now there's one remarkable exception. In 2018, Novak Djokovic arrived as the number 12 seed. Still rebuilding from his elbow surgery and rehabilitation, but going all of the way and winning that year. What followed wasn't a cautious return, but a domination. In betting numbers, backing against the top seed in the men's draw has been a losing streak over the recent history. Lesson number 2, 3 players, 1 decade. Here's the most striking data point of the entire decade. 7 consecutive editions of Wimbledon from 2018 to 2025 has been won by 3 players. Novak Djokovic, Alcaraz and Sinner. And in 2023, the passing of the torch, so to speak, when Alcaraz beat Novak Djokovic in a 5-set thriller, ending Djokovic's 34-match winning streak. That announced Alcaraz onto the tennis stage and that the next generation of champions was here. And a year later, he defended and beat Djokovic again in the final. Then in 2025, Sinner arrived. His turn was to defeat Alcaraz in the final in a 4-set thriller. And another member of the next generation coming through in the tennis game. For bettors and analysts alike, the lesson is clear. When Sinner, Alcaraz or Djokovic are on form, you can't really look much further. Lesson number 3, women's Wimbledon. The unpredictability is the story. We now look at the women's draw and everything changes. 9 editions, 9 different winners, no repeat winners, no patterns except one. The seedings tell the story. Just 3 winners have come when they've been the number 1 seed, with 6 other different titles going from the 7th seed to, strangely and astonishingly enough, unseeded players. What the women's data tells us is this: Wimbledon on the women's side is generally wide open. Players who might never win on clay or hard court find themselves in finals on grass. And that, frankly, is what makes the women's draw at Wimbledon one of the most compelling betting and viewing propositions of all sports. Lesson number 4, grass finds its own stars. Wimbledon is the only Grand Slam that is played on grass, and that single fact shapes everything. The surface is unlike anything the players face for the other 50 weeks of the year. The big serve, the flat strike, the net approach, these are the tools that win matches at Wimbledon. And because players spend so little time on grass each year, the weeks immediately before Wimbledon are the clearest indicator of form. The Queen's Club and Hale are not just warm-up events, they are the data points. Players who arrive at Wimbledon with grass court titles or finals behind them have proven emphatically that these are the players to watch when it comes to Wimbledon. Federer in 2017 won Hale for the 9th time, then he won Wimbledon. Djokovic's domination in 2019 to 2022 period was built on years of grass preparation. And Alcaraz in 2023, he broke through and he came from reaching the final at the Queen's Club just 2 weeks earlier. On the women's side, it's a slightly more complex. The grass court season is shorter and the format rewards serve and volley instincts. And lesson number 5, the next generation. The final lesson from a decade worth of Wimbledon data is perhaps the most significant and compelling of what comes next. Tennis is in the middle of one of the most exciting generational changes and transitions the sport has ever seen. Carlos Alcaraz was 20 years old when he won his first Wimbledon. He was 21 when he defended it. Jannik Sinner was 23 when he claimed his first title on grass. Both players are now in their mid-20s with potentially a decade of grass court summers ahead of them. The dynamic of their rivalry, two players who respect each other deeply but compete so intensely, are one of the great sporting narratives of our time. In the women's draw, Iga Swiatek's 2025 victory was the moment of enormous significance. The most dominant player of our era had always had questions raised about her grass game. But in 2025, she broke through and answered those questions in one of the most important stages and raised the question if she can be stopped. The data from the past decade points overwhelmingly to one conclusion. We are at the beginning of a new era, and the names at the top of the market for 2026 are not just favourites, they are the story. Finally, to recap, trust the elite at the top of the men's game. 3 different men have won a Wimbledon title in every year since 2018. And if it all fits, then the rest of the field will no doubt be competing for a consolation prize. In the women's draw, rankings go out the window, with even unseeded players claiming a title. The grass court in June is not just a warm-up, it's the warm-up to who is ready for Wimbledon. And finally, the new era has arrived, and one we will see for many, many years to come. Enjoy Wimbledon, I'm sure it will be an exciting tournament.